Today, we're talking about a Nike shoe. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, everybody? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. If you live in the US, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you did a turkey trot, and if you didn't, I hope you got some miles in when you had time. Before jumping into our shoe review today, I'm going to ask if you could please go follow me on Instagram. I'm posting more content there than ever before, including a fun reel of a turkey trot that Kate and I did on Thanksgiving. We had a great time, and just other running content. If one video a week on YouTube is not enough, go follow me on Instagram at RunLikeHeller. Today we're going to talk about a shoe that I don't think I've ever reviewed on this channel before. We are going to chat about the Nike Vomero 17. I've always wanted to try the Vomero because a lot of the Pegasus versions that come out don't really work for me. It's not a shoe that I particularly love, but I know that the Vomero is supposed to be their more cushioned, more maximalist shoe, and that's right up my alley. I have about 14 miles in this shoe, and there are definitely some things I like about it, but also definitely some things that I don't. So we're going to talk about all that today, but of course, first you have to watch the run footage. Before we get started today, I do want to let you know that this shoe was sent to me by Nike. However, they're not going to see this video before you. They can't tell me what to say, and all of my opinions are always my own. So first things first, let's start with the upper of the Vomero 17. Nike is using an engineered mesh, and for a maximal shoe, it is a fairly breathable upper. I definitely felt some chilly wind passing through the forefoot of this shoe. If we go to the midfoot, it is fairly structured to keep your midfoot in place. And if we go to the back, the heel counter is also pretty sturdy, just so your ankle's not wobbling around in there. So yes, like I said, the mesh is breathable. It's also soft and comfortable on the top of my foot. But I did have some issues with fit in this shoe, and it's not an issue of length because I have the perfect amount of room in the toe box. That's not a problem. It's more the midfoot area. I'm not sure if this shoe has like too much material or it has a lot of volume in the midfoot, but I did have an issue really getting a good fit around the midfoot. And another problem I think that kind of exacerbates that is that this tongue is really thick. It's just a big bulky tongue with thin laces. So when I would try to cinch the laces down, I felt like they weren't really staying tight despite how tight I tried to tie them. So it wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, but I did kind of have to fight with this shoe a bit to get the perfect fit so I didn't feel like my ankle was slipping out or that I was moving around too much in there. I have a narrow foot, so if you don't, you might not experience that at all, but it is something that I wanted to point out. Another thing about this upper that I really don't get is this. Is this a pull tab? Is this for fashion? I do not get it. Despite not loving how bulky the tongue is, I do like how much padding they put around the ankle collar. It really does keep it comfortable back there, and I always appreciate that. Overall though, I had no issues with hot spots, blisters, or irritation in the Vomero 17. So while I don't really love the fit of it, it didn't necessarily cause any major problems. We'll take that as a win. But now to the most interesting part of every shoe, the midsole. Here, Nike is using two different types of foam. The top layer that you see is going to be your soft, cushy, premium Zoom X. Zoom X is the foam that you see in all of Nike's top super shoes, so it was really fun to see that they incorporated a nice layer here. This is going to give you that responsive yet soft sinking in feeling that your foot initially feels when it hits that cushioning. And then the bottom layer that you see is Nike's Cushlon foam. foam. Nike has had Cushlon for a very long time, and I think this gives it a more durable and possibly even more stable ride. So I have mixed feelings about this midsole. The things that I like about it is, like I already said, I do really love the ZoomX foam here. I love that initial sink in feeling, that softness that you get. But I love that the Cushlon does provide you with some structure. So my ankles, because I'm an overpronator, they're not going to be caving in too much. In the running footage, I didn't see too much of that happening, which I was very happy about. I ran primarily easy miles in this shoe, although I did pick up the pace for some strides. And it was fine. I wouldn't recommend this shoe for that, but I do think that this is going to be an absolute workhorse for long distance mileage, long runs from easy to moderate pace. There's no doubt that this shoe can crush that. But there are some things that would prevent me from making this like my top max cushion shoe for long distance running. Number one is that I think they have so much foam built up back here. You can really feel it like towards the back of your midfoot. There's just so much foam. And then we have cushioning and foam in the forefoot, but I don't think it's enough. I don't feel like the foam here is equally distributed. So I'd love to see some of this chunky heel get kind of transferred to this forefoot to give us even more cushioning. And because of there being less foam in the forefoot, it feels like a slappy kind of ride, and it's also a very rigid ride. It's not a very flexible shoe, and there is something that I think contributes to both of those things, both the slappiness and the rigidity of it, and I think that's the outsole. So we're talking about the outsole a little bit early here. We'll go back and talk about traction later on, but as far as how the outsole impacts the ride of the shoe, I think that it really does impact it quite a bit. As you can see, this is a very intense outsole. It is completely covered in rubber basically, minus some flex grooves. And to me, it deadens the ride of the midsole. I would love to see how this shoe feels with a little less rubber underfoot. I think then it would be like perfect. I understand that Nike is trying to make a durable shoe, a shoe that's gonna last hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, and this certainly will. There's no question about that. But I just feel like this is overkill. These aren't deal breakers, but they are for me in terms of putting this on the top of my list of max cushion shoes. I think they have the right idea. I love the ZoomX. I like the Cushlon with it too, but there are just some things here that aren't doing it for me. That being said, if some of the max cushion shoes on the market are too soft for you, then this is definitely a place to look because it's not going to be as mushy. This is what like the Pegasus should have felt like. This doesn't feel max cush. This feels like a daily trainer. Turning this shoe over yet again, we have a lot, as we already discussed, high abrasion rubber here with some nice small lugs for traction. Now, despite all the things I didn't like about this outsole and how it impacted the ride, when it comes to traction and durability, this is going to be top notch. Obviously, these small lugs have a really nice bite no matter what kind of surface you're running on. Grass, gravel, pavement, cement, whatever, I don't know, all those things. It's going to do just fine in all that. And it's also going to do fine, I think, in different kinds of conditions. Maybe if your running route has pavement, but it also has some like packed trails, this could be perfect for that kind of thing. So it's not all bad. There's definitely some positive aspects to this outsole. The Nike Vomero 17 is $159.95 on runningwarehouse.com. I think a fair price because a lot of max cushion shoes are around that same price range. I'd recommend this shoe to somebody who already is really into Nike shoes. Maybe you have a peg and you want something with a little more cushioning for your long run day, then for sure you're gonna like this. Maybe if you're trying to get into a Nike shoe, if it was between the Peg and the Vomero, I would definitely tell you to check out the Vomero. If you want to pick up your own pair of the Nike Vomero 17, you can do so at the link in the description of this video. Just click that and pick up your own pair. Keep in mind that is an affiliate link with Running Warehouse, however, it doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can keep making these videos. So, I am mixed on this shoe. It wasn't all bad. My experience wasn't terrible. It was fairly pleasant. But I can't ignore some of the glaring issues that I felt, which dampen the experience a bit. I actually am gonna keep running in this shoe because I wanna see if maybe it breaks in a little bit more over time and starts to feel less stiff and clunky and all that sort of stuff. And I'm also interested to see how many miles this outsole can take because I feel like I don't know what, it's gotta be like 1,000. Have you tried the Vomero 17? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Is there another Nike daily trainer that I should be trying that I'd like better than this? Also let me know in the comments down below. Well everyone, that concludes this video on the Nike Vomero 17. If you enjoyed it, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit the notifications bell so you can find out every time I upload a new video. What do we think of this color? I don't hate it. I have another video for you next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like heller. See you next time. Good girl. Yeah. Want your greenie? Do you want your greenie? Kiss. Okay, yes, go.